Hello guys, welcome to Tariq's class. Today we're going to learn about circles. So let's start. So first of all, what do you know about a circle? So first of all, the middle point here, we call it center. From this point, if I draw the line and it touches the circle, we're going to call that radius. Okay? So let's understand radius a little bit more. So from the center point, you draw the line, it touches the circle, it'll be radius. Center point, draw the line, touches the circle, we call it radius. Now, if we extend the radius onto the other side, so two radiuses together makes a diameter. Okay? So diameter is actually equal to 2 times the radius. Okay? Remember that. So if I say the radius is 5, the diameter will be how much? 10. Okay? So we learned what radius is, diameter, and the more things you need to know is this part of the circle. See these carved lines? These are called arc. Okay? So they're not straight line. They're carved. So these are called arc. So arc, then we have center, then we have radius. Okay? And we have diameter. Now, the two things you need to know about circle is what is the area of the circle. Like for example, if you have a circle, there are some area here. Let's say you draw a circle anywhere in the middle of the field, it will capture some area. So how would you find out what is the area of this circle? So there are two formulas. One is for area, which is pi. Pi is a symbol. And then r, the radius, power 2. Power 2 means you multiply the same number twice. For example, so if you have a circle with a radius, remember radius? 5. What would be the area of this circle? So I'm gonna use this formula. I'm gonna keep the pi as it is. Don't touch the pi. And r stands for radius, which is 5. So you put 5 here, power 2. Power 2 means you multiply the same number twice, okay? 5 times 5, which is 25. So we'll keep the pi and the 25. Now, we prefer to write the number first and the pi after. Okay? So pi itself has a value actually. Do you know what is the value of pi? You are correct. It is 3.14. It's a decimal number, right? 3.14. So if they want you to find the exact number, so then we're going to erase the pi and we're going to replace pi with 3.14. So you multiply 3.14 with 25. We're going to come to the how to multiply decimal numbers. We'll come to that in a bit. But now, for now, I'm just going to leave it as pi. So 25 pi. Okay? So now that's how you find the area of a circle. Let's practice one more. Let's say you have the circle. Radius is 3. What is the area of this circle? So I'm going to represent area as A equal to pi. You're just going to keep the pi there, remember. Parentheses, put a parenthesis whenever you plug in or replace a letter like R, you're going to replace it with 3 because radius is 3. And power 2. Remember power 2 means you multiply 3 how many times? Twice. So 3 times 3, 9. And keep the pi there, done. This is the area of the circle. Okay? It is that easy. Now that we know what is the area of the circle, we're going to move to the next part. When you have a circle, this line here, remember I said I called it an arc, like here, the whole. I didn't draw the exact on top, but yeah. So this arc, the full arc, we call it circumference. Okay? Circumference. You can also call it arc, the full arc, or you can also call it rotation, like one rotation. If you rotate and come back to the same point 1, that is the circumference. That's one rotation, or you could call it arc or the circumference. So mainly we call it circumference. So circumference, the formula is pi, right, times the diameter. Okay, pi times the diameter. Some people call it 2 pi r. It's the same thing. 2 times the radius is the diameter. So we'll learn pi d, pi d, pi d. That's the circumference of the circle. Okay. Now remember, the diameter is the 2 times the radius. If you remember it, here we looked into it. So whatever the radius is, diameter is 2 times that. So diameter, we're going to call it twice. So let's give a radius. So let's say radius is 5. What would be the circumference? First of all, if the radius is 5, the diameter will be 10. So it's pi times 10, which is 10 pi. It is that easy. So the two things we learn, area and circumference. Okay. So area formula is pi r squared. Circumference is pi d. These are the two things you have to memorize. And after that is just replacing the plugging in, the substitution of the radius. Okay. So that's area and circumference. These are the two formulas you must know for today's worksheet. Now let's move on. Now we're going to go for the next part, how to break the pi. So let's say you have 5 pi, let's say 25 pi area, right? So that means pi means 3.14. We're going to multiply that. So 3.14 times 25. Okay, at first we're just going to ignore the decimal, just multiply simply. So 5 times 4, 20. I'm going to put 0 here, 2 goes here. 5 times 1, 5 plus 2, 7. And 5 times 3, 15. I'm going to put a 0. 4 times 2, 8. 2 times 1, 2. 3 times 2, 6. Now add them. So that's 0, 15, 5. There's a carry on. 8 and 7. Okay, I hope I did it right. Now, so after doing that, you're going to replace the decimal. So you see there are two numbers after this decimal. So 2 digits, 1 and 4. So I'm going to have 2 digits after this decimal too. So I'm going to place it right here. Okay. So now 78.50, that's the answer. So similarly, let's learn another decimal multiplication. So if you have 1.23 times 1.5, how would you do that? So first ignore the decimal, just multiply 5 times 3, 15. 5 here, 10, 11, 1. 5 times 1, 5, right? So 11, right? 5, 1, 10, 1, 11. Sorry, what did I do? So 5 times 3, 15, 5 here. Then you have a carry 5 times 2, 10, and 1, 11, 1 here. There's 1, 5, and 1, 6. Sorry. Now, this is 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 5, 4, 8, 1. So after this decimal, there are 2 digits, and after this one, 1. So total 3 digits after the decimal. So I'm going to place it right here. Okay, so 2 digits after this decimal, and after this decimal, 1 digit. So total 3 digits after the decimal. So that is how we're going to multiply the decimal numbers. How do we add and subtract? Adding and subtraction is pretty easy. We're just going to align the decimal point. Like for example, if I say 1.37 plus 1, 12.3. So you just have to align them. So I'm going to write 12.3 first, bigger. So 1.37, fill out the rest of it with 0, just plus, plus, plus. Okay, so you just align the decimals for adding and subtraction. That's the rules. So now that we know how to multiply decimals and about the circle, so today's main lesson in the SHSAT, they ask it a bit differently. For example, they're going to give you a circle and another circle within it. And they're going to shade the part. And they will ask, what is the area of the shaded region? You'll be like, I learned area, but what about shaded? So this is not complicated. Let's take a look. So first of all, so I'm going to call this like the whole area, the big circle, everything in it is the big circle, right? So think about a big circular paper, and you cut out a smaller circular paper in the middle. So I call it like a donut. So they just want to know what is the area of this donut. So one way to find the shaded is always you find the total big area. So we can call it total area minus the small, this unshaded area. The donut had to be made because we had to subtract this. So shaded is equal to total minus unshaded. Okay, let's practice one question. Relax. Now you have this circle with a radius, let's say 10. Then they cut out another circle inside with radius, this one is 6. Okay, now what is the area of this donut? The shaded part. So let's follow it. So the shaded, so let's find the total area. So I'm going to find the area of the big circle first, which has a radius 10. A circle with a radius 10, who remembers the area of the circle formula? That is correct, pi r square, pi r square. Remember, pi r square. Square means power 2. So pi times 10 power 2, so that's 100 pi. Okay, 100 pi for the area of the big circle. What is the area of the small, this cut out green circle with a radius 6? We're going to do again pi r square. Any circle you want to find area, pi r square. So 100 pi was the total area minus the small one, which has a radius 6. So that's, we can calculate it, pi 6 squared. So that's 36 pi. Okay, ignore the pi. What is 100 minus 36? That's 64 pi. So that is the answer. But in today's worksheet, you will see that you have to calculate what pi is, because knowing how to handle decimal numbers, like big numbers, it's actually important. Sometimes they give you some bigger questions with the bigger decimal numbers to waste your time. So because timing is another important part for the SHSAT. So you have to learn that part. So here all you have to do is 3.14 times 64, and that is it. So let me give you an overview before we start the worksheet. So first of all, you understood what circle, radius, right? Diameter, area of the circle is pi, radius squared. Circumference, we're not going to really do circumference today, but I'm just like writing it down in case you need it, pi d. And you need to know how to find the donut, the shaded region. Today's main objective is how to find the shaded area. Okay, so now you practice the worksheet that is given, and right after that I will go over the worksheet. So first you have to watch this video, then practice the worksheet, and then I will go over the worksheet you have done. Give your best, and the worksheet is designed in a way so that you can get an experience of the digital SHSAT. Okay, I will say there are about 9 questions in the worksheet, today's worksheet. So you can time yourself, or take your time if it's the first time you're doing it, and see how many you can get correct. And then you watch my videos. Even if you get them correct, I may add some new information that you didn't know. Thank you very much for watching. Start the classwork now.